Are mothership recalls in the opponent's base actually a viable strategy? Why are there so many upsets in Dreamhack Masters Europe? And why do we pay some people a crap ton just to look at chickens? All of these questions will be answered in today's episode of StarCraft Today.
StarCraft Today.
Your favorite StarCraft news show. Last week was the start of the Dreamhack Masters Europe, and oh what a start it was. Loads of upsets in the tournament. Moving to Group A, we saw Raynor versus Soul Spirit, a match which Aligulak predicted a 97% chance for Raynor to win there, and I don't think too many people would have faith in Soul Spirit in this matchup. The best of three started out very well for Raynor, as he took map 1 with a quick 12 poo, managed to win that map within 3 minutes. The second game opened up with aggression once more, as this time Soul Spirit opened up with a 12 poo with a Baneling follow-up. Raynor defended this without major losses, but foolishly decided to go for his own Ling Bane counter-aggression. This got stopped in its tracks as Soul Spirit was already preparing a Roach all-in for himself, and as Roaches are better than Banelings, Raynor did not have the tools to deal any damage, and to make matters worse, he didn't even have the tools to defend this off-timing attack out of Soul Spirit, forcing the Italian Zerg to tap out. In the third game, Soul Spirit once again brings the aggression to Raynor, and with some slick Ling Bane control actually manages to deal a decent chunk of damage, taking out every single queen as well as forcing a massive worker pool. The game stabilizes and Raynor seems to be in a fine spot, up an attack upgrade as well as up a couple of workers, when Soul Spirit decides to attack. Soul Spirit deals a massive blow to Raynor in this assault, even with lesser upgrades. Raynor tries to stabilize, but sadly falters to the next timing, giving Soul Spirit a 2-1 win and giving us our first major upset in this tournament. Group B also wasn't upset free, as we saw an exciting PvT match between MaxPax and Milky Cow. Milky Cow has been impressing me over the past few months, but I still did not expect what went down on Glittering Ashes. After an honestly mediocre start for the Terran, somehow, someway Milky Cow found some momentum and started dropping like his life depended on it. Although Phoenixes and Colossi were out, MaxPax still took a decent chunk of damage, which seemed to embolden the Russian Terran player, who continued the onslaught by attacking multiple locations at once. At some points, MaxPax felt like he was forced to try and take a fort base and loses his remaining army to the Terran forces, 1-0 in favor of Milky Cow. In Game 2, Milky Cow opens up with a Proxy Reaper, following it up with a very technical Marauder Hellion type of drop. It deals an astronomical amount of probe damage, but despite all of that, MaxPax does manage to hold on versus the first big 2 medevac push, takes some big army losses, and isn't attacking at the speed required to keep up with the powerful Terran Bio army. Milky Cow continues taking major and minor wins in the fight and eventually is capable of taking out MaxPax with a big Ghost Bio push, which MaxPax just isn't ready for. Milky Cow wins the game and the series, giving us the second major upset in this tournament. Moving over to Group C, the home of Serral, as well as the home of the game of the week. Played on Glittering Ashes between Skilles and Harstem. The handsome Dutch player opens up with an aggressive Adept opener, which doesn't achieve much, while Skilles decides to attack into a fast blink. This allows the Russian to blink into the attractive Dutch player's base and depower some buildings, as well as get some worker kills. Harstem manages to stabilize and get into a disruptor war in which he consistently is taking better trades, allowing him map control as well as a quick carrier transition. The game really starts taking off when the gorgeous Dutch Protoss starts using aggressive recalls to surprise Skilles, but Harstem pushes it too far when he recalls straight into his opponent's main base like he's playing an episode of Beating Grandmaster with stupid stuff. With that move, Harstem loses a lot of momentum and despite his big bang, never truly manages to get an army that is capable of challenging Skilles' army, and that eventually leads to a very painful loss. Fantastic game to watch though, less of a fantastic game to play if you're on the losing end, but god what is that guy handsome. Moving over to Group D, we had another big upset in Shadowne versus Clem. Shadowne in Game 1 opening up with a quick hidden base, which Clem does not spot at all. Despite this massive eco lead for Shadowne, Clem still managed to make a game of it and get himself into somewhat of a playable position in the mid game, cancelling what he believes to be a fourth base, while in reality, of course, it's a fifth because there's a hidden base. When the hidden base finally does get spotted, it already feels like it's a little bit too late. Shadowne got the map control with some DTRS and beautiful disruptor shot, World manages to take game number 1. However, in order to complete the upset, Shadow needs to take another game, and in that second game, nothing seems to be going wrong for Clem. It's a very stable early game going into a pretty normal mid game. The first real damage gets dealt when Clem is busy looking at his army, while Trizel has absolutely ravaged his third base economy, taking out 14 workers. As a result, Clem decides to deal some counter damage with a rather risky drops. He manages to take out the 5th base and also kills 9 to 10 workers. After this damage, Clem feels that he is capable of taking out Shadow and almost manages to kill him, but the French Protoss player manages to stabilize while counterattacking on the other side of the map with Dark Templars. The game remains somewhat even until eventually a single big disruptor shot takes out 20 supply at once, and after this Shadow just keeps the pedal to the metal, never relents, forcing Clem to concede and giving the French Protoss a 2-0 win in this massive upset. That leaves us with the current group standings being slightly different than what most people would have expected. Raynor in 2nd place behind Elaser in Group A, MaxPax in 4th place while still having to play the 3 toughest opponents in Group B. Group C does look fairly standard, and in Group D, Shadow in 2nd place while Clem is in 3rd. Dreamhack Masters Europe will continue to be played in the upcoming week, so be sure to tune in for some high-level action over there. Europe wasn't the only region with some Dreamhack action, as we once again saw Special take the Latin American crown with a 4-1 win versus Calazur in the finals. The last time Special lost in a Latin American major tournament was on the 28th of May, 2017. That's almost 5 years to this day. A very impressive period to remain on top in a rather competitive region. Over in the Oceania region, we saw the Vietnamese player Mio Maika take out the British-Pakistani player Thibault in the finals. Mio Maika is nicknamed the Zerg Haas, and he definitely showed it in the final series with some cool proxy hatches and an overall extremely aggressive playstyle the entire way through. This is the first time that Mio Maika wins this tournament, so big congratulations to him, and I hope to see him do well in Dreamhack Valencia as well. Over in Taiwan, the real Haas lost to Nice in the finals of the Taiwanese Hong Kong Dreamhack Masters, ending the series in a real Haas fashion with a fake 3rd Glaive Adept Immortal win, which fell flat on its face against Nice. Theoretically perfect defense, allowing Nice to once again qualify for a Premier tournament as well as winning the region. Haas has been struggling in the past few years, losing that top spot to Nice, and I'm curious to see if he can make the comeback in the upcoming season for Dreamhack Atlanta. With that all behind us, we'll move on to the World Team League. In the first match of the week, Harstem was the only Shopify rebel to drop a map. Dream managed to surprise him with a cheeky proxy Hellion drop in game 1 of their series. As Beyond and Scarlet both won their matches 2-0, the clan war did end up with a clean 5-1 in favor of Shopify Rebellion. Alpha X vs Team GP seemed to be heading into an ace match with Zaun vs Prince as well as Ryung vs Classic ending up in a 1-1 score. Luckily for Alpha X, Ragnarok was just a little too strong for Cham and took home the series with a 2-0, giving Alpha X a 4-2 win in this clan war. Team SSLT is the bottom feeder in the league, and Dragon Phoenix wasn't going to throw them any scraps, as this ended up being another clan war without a map win for SSLT, who currently only took 3 maps in the initial 4 rounds of the World Team League. Psystorm vs Liquid once again turned into a disaster for Liquid. Clan managed to get a 2-0 win versus Special, but as no one else on Liquid side managed to get a dub, the score ended up being 4-2 in favor of Psystorm. Liquid is forced to play one more round without Elaser, as he is not yet eligible to play for them in the World Team League. Hopefully once Elaser will join their roster, it will bring some relief, as currently the boys in blue have not been performing all too well. The 5th clan war was Platinum Heroes versus Team Envy, and it ended up being the mismatch that it looked like it would be beforehand, with Platinum Heroes not being capable of taking a single map in this clan war. Team Envy managed to get a quick 6-0 win on the board, establishing themselves as one of the top teams in the league. The final match of the week was between the Guangdong Freaks and Kaisi Gaming, and saw a surprising outcome as Kaisi got dealt its first loss of the season. Perhaps a little less surprising when you realize they did not field their absolute ace player Raynor. Armani managed to take out Time 2-0, and Solar as well as Spirit only managed to take a single map, leaving the score 4-2 in favor of Guangdong Freaks. That gives us the current standing of the World Team League, with Team NV in first, followed quickly by Dragon Phoenix Gaming as well as Alpha X, and in the bottom we have Team Liquid and SSLT with not a single win yet. As always, 3 EPT Cups got played this week as well, starting on the Sunday in Korea. In the first final of the week, we saw Dark take out Beyond in a clean 3-0 sweep with some Dark-like aggression, allowing him to win one of the shortest finals that I think ever has been played in the ESL Open Cups. Over in Europe, we had a little bit of an all-liquid party with Elaser taking on Clem. The French Terrans multitasking was too strong for the Polish Zerg and managed to take the series with a quick 3-1 score. In America, we saw Beyond's second final of the week, and this time it ended a lot better for him as he managed to take out the always scary Protoss player Hero with a 3-1 score. Congrats to this week's Cup winners, and 2 out of the 3 Cup winners feature in this next clip, which we see some of the most amazing Reaper Micro that I have ever seen.
They can go for that, the identical style that Beyond showcased in the previous game. You can even go for, recently recurring PC play. Like, there are many things that can go on, so I think Beyond would probably stick to the Starport 1-1-1 play. Oh, and loses one lane. That's a feels bad.
Oh my god, is this Reaper? Oh, he's gonna come out alive.
3 kills.
Wow. Taking out 3 links while Dark opened up with a 6 link start is extremely uncommon, and he had to take some risk for it, but Beyond made it happen. Sadly, that is going to be the end of today's StarCraft Today episode, but not before I answer the final question, which is, why do we pay some people a crap ton of money to look at chickens? Well, these people are called chicken sexers, and they have a vital role in the chicken industry. As they determine the sex of the chick, the female chicks can be separated from the male chicks, allowing them to be on different feeding programs and saving these companies a crap ton of money. Chicken sexing can be done by looking at the size of the feathers in certain species, but most commonly is done with a technique called vent sexing, in which you squeeze the chicken so you are capable of looking, well, into its vent. You know what I mean. This technique is rather difficult and hard to learn, and thus we pay these people a lot. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. I hope you learned something as well. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video, which most likely is going to be an Is it Inbar or do I suck? Because tomorrow is Thursday. Thank you, and bye-bye.